Let's see if I'm live. I'll make sure I'm live before I start saying too much, right? What is going on, people? Welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. My name is Joe. Welcome to this post-game edition of Bill-ievers Talk. We're going to talk about the game yesterday between our Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. Happy to be live, and it looks like the live stream is working. Remember Thursday, guys, we had a little bit of problems. Was unable to go live during halftime of Thursday Night Football, but looks like those problems have been fixed, guys. Welcome to Bill-ievers Talk again. If you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button, like this video, tell me what you thought about the game yesterday. There's a lot of hate right now on our Buffalo Bills, a lot of hate on a team that's 5-2. Listen, I know the schedule is what it is, right? I mean, we had to beat some pretty bad teams. We finally get a team that we might be able to compete against that can really prove that we're at the next level, and we lay a little bit of an egg. But we're going to talk about that during this live stream. I look forward to talking to you all, getting your opinions. It looks like the Sabres just lost in a shootout to the Coyotes. Young King, how you doing? I think the sense of urgency is definitely inside our Buffalo Bills minds and coaches. Philadelphia Eagles family, says Brian. Hey, congratulations to the Eagles and a must win. And I gotta be honest, guys, Philadelphia, they looked great yesterday. The fans came out for that game against the Buffalo Bills. I'll say at the beginning of the game, probably about 25% of the stadium was Philadelphia Eagles fans. And of course, by the end of the game, about 80% of the stadium was filled with Eagles fans. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles who beat us yesterday. And, again, this has to be a learning experience for the Buffalo Bills as the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Bills 31-13. But I'm thinking, okay, the Bills lost to a good team. Let's not lie about it. The Eagles are a good team. Now 4-4, had a little bit of a rough patch there. Didn't look good against Dallas, but we lost. And we thought that could be the case going into the season. Going into this game, most of the Bills fans I asked said they had a bad feeling about this game. So we lost the game. Again, not the biggest of surprise. This was a must-win game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Bills Mafia, Young King, how you doing? Again, welcome, guys, to Bill-ievers Talk. Glad you can all join me for this breakdown of the game yesterday between our Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, does not go the way the Buffalo Bills wanted it to go, of course, or the Bills fans, Bills Mafia, of course, they wanted to see this go a little bit better for our Bills. But hey, there are some good things that came out of this game. Of course, the final result and the loss is not one of those things, but there are some good things that we're going to talk about in this game. There are some bad things too, some obvious bad things that we're going to talk about. Again, guys, before I do that, however, just reminding everyone, hit that like button, share this video, let people know that we're giving our day after post game. Again, normally I like to do the day after. Gives me a chance on Monday to rewatch the game, already knowing what the score is going to be, knowing that I can look at certain matchups and things on the field that I wasn't really watching when it was live. When I do the play-by-play or when I'm at the game, obviously you're looking for different things. Then, hey, Angry Buffalo sports fan, hey, don't cry yet, man. 5-2 after 7 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that. With the Redskins coming into town, and that's the thing about you Eagles fans. If you're watching, if you're an Eagles fan, you hated us yesterday, but you love us if we beat the Redskins and if we beat the Cowboys, right? If we beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, I mean, you'll be a big Buffalo Bills fan on Thanksgiving because you want the Bills to beat those Cowboys. So it's funny how that changes things. And I was talking to my buddy, the worst part about this loss is that you won't see this team again for another 4 years, right? You won't be able to, unless, of course, you're playing the Super Bowl, but I don't see the Bills and Eagles both being at the Super Bowl at any time soon. But unless that is to happen, then you only play once every 4 years. So that leaves a little bitter pill in your mouth to swallow, knowing that you won't see them again. But the good news is, if you're going to lose a game, you want to be out of conference, right? And right now, as Mario and Paul from Hashtag Sports say, I was saying, guys, remember, Bill-ievers Talk teaming up with Mario and Paul from Hashtag Sports. We hung out with them a little bit this weekend, saw some pictures and stuff over on their channel. So again, if you haven't subscribed to them, go over and subscribe to them. Bill-ievers Talk and Hashtag Sports providing you the best play-by-play breakdown coverage of every single Buffalo Bills game this season. So make sure you either check us out here on YouTube or go over to sportscaster.com, link in the description below, and check us out there. Let us know who you believe should trade for our help. Trade deadline tomorrow at 4 o'clock, guys. I do plan on being live tomorrow for a special trade deadline edition of Believers Talk. We've been hearing some rumors, right? We've been hearing some Melvin Gordon rumors. We've been hearing some wide receiver rumors. And you just never know what Brandon Beane is capable of doing. We've seen some moves at the trade deadline before. So I look forward to see what Brandon Beane might have up his sleeve for us in the trade deadline. We'll get into that maybe a little bit later. But first, we do want to talk about this game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. Again, the Eagles win this game 31-13. Dropping the Buffalo Bills to 5-2, and again, in a must-win game for the Philadelphia Eagles, putting them back at 500 at 4-4. The first I want to talk about is the good. And I'm not going to lie, we're hearing a lot of bad, right? A lot of the media sources out there saying the Bills can only beat certain teams. You know, they're beating the teams they're supposed to beat. But guys, sometimes that's all it takes. We're going to have plenty of time in the latter part of the season to beat teams that others consider good. I'm talking about the Cowboys. I'm talking about the Ravens. You know, I'm talking about some of these teams here. Maybe the Steelers, even though, again, the Steelers are losing at halftime to the Dolphins. We were losing at halftime to the Dolphins, so let's not take that too lightly. But still, some teams that might be better than what people realize. And you know what? As long as we get in the playoffs, that's all that matters, right? We don't need. It doesn't matter who we beat to get to the playoffs, as long as we beat them, right? I mean, we can't control who our schedule is against. A lot of people thought coming into the season we would have a tough back end of the schedule with the Steelers, with the Cowboys, with the Ravens. But now, you know, the Cowboys, they look all right. They win the division, but it's a pretty weak division, right? You look at the Steelers losing to the Dolphins right now. So what are we going to get out of them? Ravens are beatable. Then now, of course, play New England week 16. What did we do in New England week 4? You know, we were in a position to win that game, 16-10. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they're beating the less than mediocre teams and they're losing to the above 500 teams. Well, thanks to yesterday, we're actually 1-2 against teams with a 500 or better record. The Titans are now 4-4 on the season. We beat them earlier in the year. So not only are we a game and a half up on the Titans, we also have that tiebreaker. So those will matter come the end of the season, come post-game or postseason positioning, right? So we all have to take that into account and say, hey, we beat the teams we have to beat. We're going to be in the playoffs. And again, if you've been on this show, I know I am a firm believer of breaking a season down into quarters. We won the first quarter. We went 3-1 in the first quarter, only losing to the Patriots. If we beat the Redskins, which we should beat the Redskins, right? And we'll talk about that Thursday, halftime of Thursday Night Football. If we beat the Redskins, we'll finish 3-1 in the second quarter, which means we'll be on pace to finish 12-4. 12-4 good enough to win most divisions. So it probably won't be good enough to win our division this year. The New England Patriots looking really good, and they also benefit from a weak schedule. If the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets have a weak schedule, the Patriots have a weak schedule. That's just the way it is. You know, I know that they'll play Houston instead of, we got, Tennessee. So they'll play Houston instead of Tennessee, so a little bit better there. But it is what it is. They'll play Kansas City, maybe without Patrick Mahomes. Who knows how Patrick Mahomes is going to be when we got to play Denver, or we get to play Denver. We haven't played them yet. So is their schedule a little bit harder because of those two games? Yes, but the schedule is the same. So, you know, other than those two games, we play the same teams. So it is what it is. If you're going to say the Patriots have an easy schedule or if the Bills have an easy schedule, then the other team has an easy schedule. So what can you do? All we know is that the Buffalo Bills have to beat the teams they're supposed to beat, which will include this Sunday against the Washington Redskins. So let's talk about the good from yesterday's game. And the first thing I wanted to bring up is welcome back Matt Milano, right? Am I right? I mean, I know Matt Milano did not play a perfect game yesterday, and I'm not trying to come out here and say that he did. I think he played a good game. Some tackles for losses in this one for him. Just glad to have him back on the defensive side. You're talking about 10 tackles, 3 assists on the day. So great job by him. Again, at least two tackles for a loss that I saw by Matt Milano on those really quick third downs that tried to run a sweep play with Aguilar in the first half. And I think they did it again later in the second half as well. And just well read by Milano, able to get to the man and just bring him down, able to stay in his lane, not over pursue one way or another, and 2 tackles for a loss. So welcome back, Matt Milano. Glad that hamstring injury wasn't hampering you for more than a week, and hopefully we continue to move on. We'll talk about the run defense here, obviously, in a minute, because that's obviously a big topic of conversation after the game yesterday. But for all intents and purposes, I think Matt Milano had a really good game yesterday. Really glad to see him back in a Buffalo Bills uniform on the Buffalo Bills active roster. My second good thing, and that's Some of you are going to say it's really bad that this is where I have to go to look at the good in this game yesterday. But in a windy, rainy, wet, miserable game, man, our boy Corey Jorges had a pretty good game punting the ball. I mean, again, I think about all the crap that people were throwing Corey Jorges' way at the beginning of the season, saying we needed to get a new punter, asking when is it time to get a new punter? Have we looked at a new punter? Looked at a new punter before the bye week, after the bye week. Everyone's talking about getting a new punter. Scott Blakely, hey, I'll have something in the mail for you soon, man. Welcome to Believers Talk. Alan needs to figure it out. Kyle, we're going to talk about Alan shortly. So we'll see. We should trade for Mike Evans first and then a third. Hey, if Mike Evans is available, that might be possible. I believe Scott Blakely comes in. I believe D will get back together. However, the big white elephant in the room is ball security and Josh Allen play. It's been something that we've talked about for a while now. So I'll get there. So my second good thing of the day was Kyle Jorges. Again, 58 yards. That first punt, guys, 58 yards, a booming punt, and those windy conditions really changed field position. And I thought he really benefited from the day. And my third good thing, and we'll talk about ball security, and that's not good. But my third good thing is Josh Allen didn't look as miserable as people are making him out to look. His stat line is one thing, okay? His stat line is one thing, and it's not good. Throwing less than 50%, fumbling the ball 3 times, that's not good. I understand that. But there were times where he made good decisions on the field yesterday when plays broke down. If you watch that game, there are times where he rolled out and threw the ball away. There were times where instead of trying to fit in a laser throw, he ran the ball for 3, 4, 5 yards. We saw smart decision making by Josh Allen yesterday. And now we can't say that about every single play, but we can see continued progression. He didn't throw an interception yesterday. Yeah, he put on the ground 3 times. We have to worry about that. We always will have to worry about that, it seems. But again, I feel like he made some smart decisions yesterday. And not only am I happy with the smart decisions Josh Allen made. Remember this. Let's go back to the beginning of the second half. First possession by the Eagles, right? Miles Saunders, I believe it is, formerly of Penn State, rookie running back for the Eagles, runs a touchdown about, I think it was over 60-yard touchdown run for Miles Saunders, right? What do the Buffalo Bills do in response to that? Well, they just marched down the field and they scored a touchdown back with Devin Singletary on that screen pass, a 10-play, 75-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 26 seconds. They answered their touchdown right back. And yeah, in the long run, it didn't matter because then the Eagles scored on their next possession and the Bills were just unable to match. But I really liked that drive. Allen showed a lot on that drive that we can look forward to in the future. And again, getting the screen pass going, hopefully getting Devin Singletary more involved in the game. That would be something to continue to look good. Let's go Buffalo. Well, get better, says Timothy. Welcome, Timothy, to Believers Talking. It will get better. And it's not just going to get better because we play weaker competition. Again, there's going to be plenty of time left in this season, whether you talk about the game against the Cowboys, whether you talk about the game against the Baltimore Ravens, whether you talk about the game against the Patriots. There's going to be plenty of time in this season to beat those good teams and to prove that we can beat the good teams in the playoffs. Now, I did say on Saturday, I was talking to some of my buddies on Saturday, and I said, this game to me is the difference between the Bills making the wild card and losing like they did 2 years ago, and potentially winning a game or two in the playoffs, which is something that we all want for the Buffalo Bills against the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, we have plenty of time to prove what we're worth. Yes, we're going to continue to improve. We're going to continue to get better. Josh Allen is going to continue to get better. Again, the stats might not show it yesterday, but I do believe Josh Allen made some good decisions yesterday when plays weren't there. He just threw the ball away or ran it for a few yards instead of taking that loss. Slid when he needed to slide. Again, if you look at the numbers, like I said, 16, 34, 169, 2 touchdowns, 4 sacks. Those don't look great. But again, look at that 4 sacks number and look at the numbers before that. He rarely had 4 sacks, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes taking a sack is a good thing. Sometimes taking a sack is fighting for another down, and we have to be okay with that sometimes. Sometimes plays break down. Hey, we saw it from the Eagles yesterday too. They had a couple penalties because their plays broke down. They were in the wrong line. I remember watching the game, and it was funny because Nelson Aguilar was yelling at Carson Wentz before he had the ball to not snap the ball. He snapped the ball. Illegal formation. Nelson Aguilar saw that. Carson Wentz didn't. And again, there's still some issues within the Eagles locker room, I'll say, but Deshaun Jackson should be back for practice, so hopefully that means good things soon here for the Eagles as well. But again, it's completely different when you're talking about a team coming in with a must-win mentality versus a team coming in with a want-to-win mentality. And the team with the must-win came out to win. We need to trade for a stud receiver, says CR. We will talk about the trade deadline coming up tomorrow here in a second, but let's talk about the negative from this game. And guys, I know there's gonna be a lot of negatives to talk about in this game, but let's remember before anything, before we talk about the negatives at all from this game, let's remember one thing: we're 5-2. We're 5-2. Next week's midway through the season, if we beat the Redskins, we're 6-2. We're on the way to a 12-4 season, and I don't think that's bad. At the beginning of the season, I put out a Twitter poll. I'm going to go on my Twitter page right now and give you the results of this poll that I put out. By the way, guys, Twitter link in the description below. If you aren't following me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I put polls up. I have some contests that I've done. Scott Blakely, I got your hat autographed while I was in Buffalo this weekend, so I look forward to mailing that sometime soon. And yeah, we just have a good time. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go and follow me on Twitter. But I want to get to this poll question real quick for you guys, just to try to explain the narrative a little bit. It's funny how the narrative changes as the season goes on, and I know like expectations can improve, but man, where is it? Where is it? Where's my poll? Where is my poll? Did I do it in August? I don't want to take up too much of your time, guys. Looking for this thing. I want to find it. All right. Well, it looks like I'm not going to find it. And again, I don't waste too much of your time. But it basically just asks, like, how well do you guys predict the Bills will do this season? And I put 8-8, 9-7, wild card team. I put a couple options out there, and one was win the AFC East. Guys, 9-7 was the majority winner. And now we're on pace to go 12-4. So what are we upset about? I just need to know, like, what are we upset about? Yeah, we don't look perfect. That's not a surprise. We shouldn't look perfect. We're not the Patriots. I understand that. Like, at the beginning of the season, everyone was like, oh, even me. I said, guys, I had no expectations of this team other than finish above 500. Those were my expectations, and those still are my expectations. Scott Blakely, you have to. Our expectations grew after a 5-1 start. Well, again, it's a great start, but it only guarantees us a 5-11 season. That's all a 5-1 start guarantees us is a 5-11 season. And before you say you don't lose 10 games in a row of starting 5-1, I would say that it probably has happened before, and it might happen sometime in the future. Now the Bills hopefully won't suffer that fate, but it's just a good start. We need to be good. Kind of like in a game, right? In a game, we still haven't seen the Buffalo Bills play a full 4-quarter game of good Buffalo Bill football, and we want to, but that's why all these games are closer than they should be, or we're losing some of these games because we're not putting 4 quarters together. Well, same thing with a season. You got to put the whole season in context. We start 5-1, come out looking like crap the other 10 weeks. That doesn't matter how we started. Again, the last time we started 5-1, we finished 7-9. So we've seen it happen to us in the past. So we can be excited about a 5-1 start, but let's not forget what our expectations were at the start of the season. Our expectations were maybe a wild card team, right? It would have been great to see more. We always want to see more, but if we're being honest with ourselves, our expectations of this team were 9-7, maybe 10-6. I had them going 11-5 if you watch my preseason prediction video, and they're still right there. There's no issue with that prediction, so I'm not upset about that. I hope you guys, 9 new offensive players, CR, you're absolutely right. This year seems like they are taking time to gel together, and that's going to happen. That you're talking about 9 new pieces. Not only are you talking about 9 new pieces, you're talking about 9 pieces who all haven't been healthy at the same time. We're changing pieces because Zay Jones was there. Now he's not. Now it's Duke Williams is there. So not only are they 9 new pieces, they're changing throughout the season. So it's making it even more difficult to gel together because of that. We saw Duke Williams have a great day yesterday. But that's going to happen when you're trying to gel together. We saw Cole Beasley have a great day yesterday. He had three catches, I believe, that one for a touchdown. That touchdown created by Josh Allen. Let's put that out there. That first touchdown by the Bills to go up 7-3, that was created by Josh Allen rolling to his right, making the linebacker make a decision whether to come at Allen or to stay with Cole Beasley. The linebacker chose either way it was going to be a touchdown. If that linebacker goes back and stays with Cole Beasley, Josh Allen's going to say, well, okay, thank you, touchdown Buffalo. So either way, it's a touchdown for the Bills. The guy attacks Josh Allen, makes him make a throw. Josh Allen makes that throw, and it's a touchdown for Cole Beasley, his second touchdown as a Buffalo Bill. So these are the decisions that Josh Allen is becoming better at, okay? And again, does he need to stop fumbling? And that's going to be my first negative from this game is ball security. We had 4 fumbles in the game yesterday. Now, only one was recovered by the Philadelphia Eagles, but we still had the 4 fumbles yesterday. I think Singletary had one on the sideline that they didn't count. That's my 4th. I'm not sure if maybe he was out. I know the ball ended up going out of bounds, but I'm pretty sure he was inbounds when he fumbled it. But that's our 4. We had 3 by Josh Allen, of course. 1 recovered by the Eagles. And again, Josh Allen, you blame the weather if you want. It was a cold, rainy day. The ball was wet. But no one else is out there fumbling the ball. Right? No one else is out there fumbling the ball 3 times. I remember coming out of college, one of my knocks on Sam Darnold was how much he fumbled the ball. And I just was like, I don't want a quarterback that does that. Well, here we are. We now have a quarterback who has lost 9 fumbles in his career. And this is only his, 17th, 18th start in his career. He needs to do better at possessing the ball. But the good news is he hasn't thrown an interception in 2 or 3 games, right? So if you want to look at the positive side of that, yes, he's fumbling the ball, but maybe that's also because he shouldn't be running the ball this much. If you look at Josh Allen led the team in rushing yesterday. And that's not a good thing. I know last year we enjoyed watching him run for over 100 yards against the Dolphins, but that's not the norm. That's not something you should look forward to, and your quarterback should not be leading your rushing group in yards. He led the Buffalo Bills, and what's worse is he led the Buffalo Bills with only 45 yards. At halftime, him and Frank Gore both had the same amount of carries. Midway through the third, same story. Frank Gore only had 9 carries to Josh Allen's 8. That can't happen. Paul from Hashtag Sports talked about this in his I Hate Dable speech. You have to run the ball, Frank Gore, more. Now, I know yesterday the run was not working as well as we wanted it to, but we talked about that in the pregame show. This was the 6th best run defense coming into this game. The running game wasn't going to just blow up. Devin Singletary had some good runs yesterday. Frank Gore had some good runs yesterday. Give them some more carries. Give them some opportunities to run the ball. I'm sick and tired of watching us go 3 and out with 3 incomplete passes. That happened yesterday in the 3rd quarter. We went 3 and out. And it took like 26 seconds off the clock. That's how quick it was. We can't let that continue to happen. Dable has to get smarter, has to get better, has to realize what he has in Frank Gore. A guy who still ran for 3.8 yards a carry yesterday, by the way. I'm just saying. He ran for 3.8 yards carry. You get 3.8 yards every 3 plays. Guess what you get? A first down. So let's remember that. Scott Blakely says, I feel sometimes they are putting a block under Josh's accelerated, forcing conservative play and creating hesitation. Is that, and again, we don't know that. Is that Josh Allen hesitating, or is that Dable not letting him see his full potential? I mean, I'd be interested to know that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a combination of both. Normally, in situations like this, it is a combination of both, so we have to keep that in mind. But some other negatives from this game is obviously our running defense. We allowed over 200 yards rushing in this game, 218 yards rushing, and most of that in between the hashes. I talked about my positives, how I liked seeing Matt Milano back, and I did. And again, I think he had a pretty good game. But in between the hashes, the Buffalo Bills defense got eaten alive. Again, we talk about that huge run to start the second half by Saunders. We talk about all the Eagles run backs pretty much having a good day. And Carson Wentz on 3rd down, be able to create with his feet on 2 consecutive series, or on 2 consecutive series of downs, where it was 3rd and 10, he converted a first down. It was 3rd and 10, he converted a first down. Just really frustrating. You can understand how that frustrates a defense when they think they got everything covered, and then all of a sudden you see Carson Wentz beating you for a first down. Smart play by Carson Wentz. That's not taking any credit away from Carson Wentz there. But at the same time, it's just really frustrating as defense. Welcome, Kenneth Osborne. This was a tough loss, hard to watch. We'll bounce back. The next 2 games are very winnable. I would argue the next 5 games are very winnable. You're talking about the Redskins, you talk about the Dolphins, you talk about the Browns. I think I mixed those 2 up. So you talk about the Redskins, Browns, Dolphins. Broncos. So maybe the next 4 games are winnable. And before our game against Dallas on Thanksgiving, it goes Redskins next week, Browns, I believe. No, Dolphins first, and then the Browns, and then the Broncos, and then Dallas. So yeah, that's the next 5. So obviously, I think those first 4 are definitely winnable. Playing those 4 teams, and again, I think at least 2 of those are at home. So, excuse me. Another bad thing, and we talk about this with the fumbling by Josh Allen. Something else is that was just a terrible time to have a turnover. You create that extra possession for the Eagles, right? You created that extra possession right before the half. They were getting the ball at halftime. I still question if receiving. We won the coin toss. We elected to receive. I'm still questioning if that was the right decision. Obviously, the wind was a big factor yesterday. If you were there, you understand the wind was a huge factor yesterday. We saw Stephen Hauschka miss a long kick right before half. We saw a missed extra point. We saw a blocked extra point that might have had something to do with the wind as well because of the low trajectory of the kick. So there was a lot going on yesterday. Hey Kyle, how you doing? Thanks a lot. Thanks for the compliment. Very dedicated, so I appreciate that. Dedicated not only to the Bills but dedicated to you guys as well. So again, if you are new, guys, hit that subscribe button. Like this video. 12 people in here watching. I would love to see 12 likes on there, but yeah, continue to hit that like button. Let people know we are here talking about the game yesterday between the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. I won't get very excited unless we can blow out a couple teams. And I said this yesterday to my cousin who was with me at the game, who's an Eagles fan. I looked at him and said, now, what a good team will do, good teams lose to good teams. It happens all the time. Good teams lose to average teams. Look at the miracle in Miami last year, right? Everyone thought New England had that one in the bag before that game started. And then New England goes up by 5 with 18 seconds left, or how much time's left. Everyone thinks that game's over, right? Well, no. Then all it takes is one play. And another thing you have to give Josh Allen credit for that I didn't even write down. He had 18 seconds after the Eagles scored to get downfield to get us in position to score a field goal. Now, again, with the wind conditions, a very tough 50-plus yard field goal for Stephen Hauschka. Not upset with him at all for missing that kick. But you move the ball downfield 20, 30 yards in 18 seconds. Pretty smart. And remember, his play to get us in the field goal range was him scrambling with the ball. Had the presence of mind to slide with 2 seconds left and look straight at the ref and call timeout. Guys, when he slid down, it wasn't because there was a lot of people around him and he was feeling pressured to slide. He could have ran for 5, 10 more yards, but guess what happens? Clock runs out then. He had the presence of mind to slide, call timeout, give us a chance to put points on the board before halftime going down when we were down 11-7. Could have been 11-10 going into halftime. Definitely would have changed things. Hey, D'Antonian TB. Troublesome malfunctions on both sides of the ball. The failures weren't isolated to one aspect of play. I would agree with that too. Maybe the Eagles just had a better game plan than we did. Again, big difference going into a game needing a win versus going into a game wanting to win. And that's what it was like here. The Eagles know what it's like to have to need to win a game. They've been there before. They've been there before with pretty much this group of guys, this core group of guys. So they did it. And congratulations to them. They kept themselves alive in the division race, and they did what they needed to do. But again, guys, if you're going to lose a game, let it be those odd conference games. Let it be those odd conference game. If we win every single AFC game we have from here now, and that includes losing to the Redskins next week. But if we win every single AFC game and lose the rest of our NFC games, we finish 12-4. We beat the Patriots. We beat the Ravens. We beat the Broncos. We beat the Steelers. Teams that we're happy to beat. And guess what? If we finish 12-4 after beating those teams, we're guaranteed the 5 seed at worst. So again, I think we're doing all right. House money is fine. Brutal wins. Oh, absolutely. I don't know who was out at the game. Kyle, Young King says we've been having offensive trouble. It was just very apparent. It's been very apparent. It's been very apparent. It's hard to get mad at the defense. Yeah, I think I read that one. I'm sorry. But yeah, the offensive struggles we have been very apparent all season long. That's the one aspect that we can go on. That's why people are in the chat right now begging for a wide receiver, begging for us to trade for a wide receiver, begging us to possibly trade for Melvin Gordon. Rumors there too. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Also, Eagles have a better offense. Let's face it, we aren't going to win a shootout. I would have loved to see a shootout yesterday. I would love to see a 60 degree day. Did you see that pass that we tried to complete to Robert Foster? Good to see Foster back, but it just died, right? Allen threw the ball. Foster's running across the middle of the field, and it just died at the 50. It just went down. And so it was behind him. So there was no chance for there to be a shootout. I know we want to see Allen continue to do better with those long balls. You're not going to get it in days like yesterday. Days like yesterday, you need him to use his arm strength to put zip on the ball, not to make sure he throws it as far as he can. Put zip on that ball to Cole Beasley that he threw behind him, and it might be a completion. Throw some more zip on some of these balls, and you might do better. Again, less than 50% completion percentage is never going to be good enough. We know that Josh Allen, when he throws for 60% or more, that we're 6-0 as a team. Let's continue, or maybe even 7-0 as a team. Let's continue to focus on the positives. Obviously, we see it kind of Jekyll and Hyde with Josh Allen, right? When he looks good, throwing over 60%, we win. When we lose, it's because he's throwing less than 50%. Happening against the Patriots, happening against the Eagles. So we need to figure it out. We need to do what we need to do to make sure Allen can maybe get some easy completions. I thought that first completion to Lee Smith was a great idea. Get him more acclimated to the wins, get him ready for the game. I thought that was a good way to start him off, but it just didn't work out for us on this day. Kyle, let's use our running backs we have now. And Kyle, to your point, why would we trade for Melvin Gordon when we're not? Right? We're not using Devin Singletary the way we should. He showed some flashes yesterday, guys. You have to admit, that screen pass for a touchdown definitely showed some flashes yesterday of our future for the Buffalo Bills. Frank Gore averaged 3.8 yards a carry. Just talked about him. Why are you not running these guys more? I don't understand it. So why would we then trade for another running back? I'm not sure. We know what Gore can do. We have 10 plus years of film. It's Singletary's turn. Eagles won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. They are a formidable opponent. Absolutely not wrong. They have major playmakers on offense. This was a good game to check where we are and where we need to improve. Absolutely right, CR. That's absolutely right. That's what we take out of this game. Where do we need to improve? We obviously still need to improve our rush defense. Guys, if you remember last year, there were games where we had a pretty good rush defense, but then there were games, I believe against the Colts was one of them, and I forget there was another one where they ran for over 200 yards. So there's 2 or 3 games last year where they ran for over 200 yards against the Bills defense, and it looks like that might be the same thing this year. The Eagles popped us in the mouth, and we got, again, give them credit where credit's due. But I think that we can only improve from this game, right? We see our weaknesses, and that's the good thing about playing equal, if not better, opponents, is it's easier to see your weaknesses, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure how I was trying to say it the first time, but it's easier to see your weaknesses because good teams know how to exploit your weaknesses. And the only way you can get better is by being shown your weaknesses and continuing to improve on them. And I think that's something that hopefully the Buffalo Bills can do. I think Coach McDermott has done a good job so far in his 3 years as head coach. I like, obviously, Leslie Frazier. Brian Dable, still a question mark, but let's see how he improves with Josh Allen coming forward. Ken Dorsey hopefully can work with Josh Allen a little bit. Another bad thing from this game, guys, is we've had our second blocked special teams kick. Now, luckily, it didn't cost us 2 more points, as it looked like the Eagles could have scooped it and ran it in for a score on the other side. But that's the second time there's been a blocked kick of some sort. Obviously, that blocked punt against New England, then a blocked extra point here in this game. Just unacceptable for that to happen. There was a lot of penetration on that kickoff, or on that extra point, and that's just unacceptable for that to happen here on this level. You need to be able to block better than that. You need to be able to give Stephen Hauschka what he needs in order to convert those extra points. Kyle keeps talking about trading for Mike Evans. They'll have Godwin for cheap and are going to rebuild. Option 2, trade for AJ Green. I don't think that's a viable option anymore. Option 3, trade for Devontae Parker. What I don't like about that option, even though I like Devontae Parker, is since it's in division. Same thing with Robbie Anderson. People were talking about him. Since it's in division, it's going to cost us a little bit more than it would somebody else. Wait for Gordon to get healthy and sign him. Excuse me. So either way, Kyle wants to see us get a playmaker at wide receiver. Again, guys, I plan on joining you tomorrow live for a special edition of the trade deadline trade talks here on Bill-ievers Talk. So make sure, if you are interested in what's going on in the trade world in the NFL, again, trade deadline tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Want to come on here live and talk to you guys during that time while the trade deadline's happening, so we can see what moves the Buffalo Bills might make, what might have gone down somewhere else that affects the Buffalo Bills, and what we can expect moving forward after the trade deadline. So join me tomorrow. Again, guys, if you haven't already hit that like button, guys, hit that like button, just that little thumbs up. Thank you, CR. Always appreciate you guys joining me. Hit that thumbs up, helps out the channel a great deal. Share this video, let people know we're talking about the post game yesterday between our Eagles and Bills, a game that I was at, a game that the field conditions were not great, a game that running the ball was going to win this game, and obviously the Eagles did that better than the Dolphins. So would any Browns be an option? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not this time. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we just saw who went out yesterday. One of the wide receivers went out for Cleveland yesterday. So I'm not sure. I hope the phone lines are hot at OBD right now. Maybe. I want to see if bracket. I think the game's probably back on, guys. So I want to get back to that. Make sure you guys get to watch the game again. Dolphins winning right now. So a little bit of an upset there. Dolphins right now up. Steelers do score a touchdown, so it's 14-10 with 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. But right now the Steelers are up. Jarvis, yeah, Landry got hurt yesterday for the Browns, so not sure how he's feeling right now. I do not want to see us trade for a guy who's injury prone. Same reason why I don't want to see us trade for AJ Green, Jarvis Landry. I would love her. I mean, you know, at the beginning of the season, I was talking about Treadwell from Minnesota. Still don't mind trading for him. We need a big guy. That's what I want. I mean, I know he's not a stud, but then again, you don't have to trade as much for him, right? You talk about Diggs and Thielen over there in Minnesota. Maybe there's a stud, a diamond in the rough, if you will, type player over there that we could sign for cheap and turn him into something great. So again, we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh momentum ripping up yards at will right now. Keenan Allen, that would be awesome, but I think that's gonna be way too pricey. And the Chargers winning yesterday might make them feel like they're buyers and not sellers at the trade deadline, because that win kind of puts them right back in the mix, possibly for a wild card spot. So we'll see what happens. Again, weak AFC conference this year, right, guys? Most of the powerhouses are over in the NFC, so weak AFC conference. So let's hope the Bills can capitalize on that, right? Capitalize that, get to the playoffs. What matters is getting to the dance. Once you get to the dance, you can worry about who you're dancing with and how you're going to look. But all that matters right now is getting to the dance. That's all I care about, and I don't care if we get there by losing to Washington and then beating all the AFC teams. If we beat the teams we're supposed to. Right now, if you look at our schedule, guys, if you look at the teams that supposedly we're supposed to beat, you got the Dolphins one more time. You got the Washington Redskins once. You got the Broncos. You got the Browns that we should beat. We got the Jets who we should beat, right? That's 5 wins right there. That's 10, okay? That's 10. More than likely, that's good enough to get you into the playoffs, okay? And then you look at the other games, and again, Denver, you can consider them a possible, a possible team we should beat right there. Vic Beasley, I like Vic Beasley. I do like Vic Beasley. Other side of the ball, but could help in a huge way. He is on the he has been rumored to be on the trading block. Would be interested to see him. And again, the Bills have been linked with Melvin Gordon, so keep that in mind. Maybe we can use Melvin Gordon more as a slot type presence, but we'll see what happens there. And takes Lorenzo's spot. Well, it releases the pressure of Lorenzo Alexander. It also gives us depth at that linebacker position, which we saw when Matt Milano went out was really costly. So again, there are many pieces at play in every single trade. Obviously, we need to look at what we can afford to give up as well. Does Brandon Beane want to give up draft capital? He normally isn't a fan of doing that, but will he do that for the right price? Absolutely. Or do we give up a player? And if so, who? I think we have a little extra depth at offensive line that maybe we can afford to trade off or something. Excuse me. You're not boring me, I promise. But excuse me. Just maybe it's because I got back from New York early this morning. Haven't really been able to sleep too much, but we'll see what happens. Beasley would add heft to our D. Absolutely need pass rush. You know, we were able to get to Wentz yesterday, as we saw Lawson get a sack, and we saw Jordan Phillips with another sack. Jordan Phillips now has 5 sacks on the year for a defensive tackle. That's really good. Maybe even Kyle Rudolph. A solid tight end would be great. Another thing I want to talk about that worked out well, I thought, yesterday is you do see Tyler Kroft getting more involved in this offense. And so maybe there's more plans for Tyler Kroft here in the near future. Won't mind seeing that at all as the Buffalo Bills continue to try to implement him into our offense. I thought we did a good job yesterday. I'm excused, thanks. But I think we did a good job yesterday getting Tyler Kroft more involved in this offense, and hopefully that continues to happen. Hopefully this week against the Redskins, the weather conditions are not nearly as bad as they were this week, and we can work on that passing game a little bit more, and we can get Josh Allen the numbers that we think he can get, right? You're talking about Josh Allen still not throwing for over 300 yards this in his NFL career, still having a game over 300 yards. So would love to see that come to an end. Obviously, get that monkey off his back. Thought could have happened this past week with the Philadelphia Eagles and their banged up secondary, but unfortunately, just not meant to be with the weather conditions. Looking at Sunday's weather right now, guys, Sunday in Buffalo. Wow. Well, I'm glad I'm not next Sunday. Sunday 11/3 Buffalo. It's going to be 6 degrees. 6 in November. Feels like 1. At night, it's going to drop down to 4. 6 degrees in the beginning of November. Maybe this is Celsius. Maybe I'm tripping. This might be Celsius. I don't know. Why would they give me the weather in Celsius? So before you go too crazy on me, Eagles 0-1. How you doing? Good game. Hey, good game by you guys. Congratulations. Pittsburgh just went up, says Scott. The Eagles 0-1 infiltrating. Dude, no, that must be in Celsius. Yeah, I was thinking that must be in Celsius because right now it's 50 degrees in Buffalo. So I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. So what's 6 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? I don't know. Some of you guys might be able to figure that out before I can. That sounds better. 42.8. So Sunday it's supposed to be 42 degrees with a little bit of rain. Doesn't look like there's too much. No, same thing. Wind gusts 34 degrees. So the wind gusts are continuing in Buffalo, which isn't that big of a surprise. So we'll see what happens this Sunday against the Redskins. Maybe not. Raining again next Sunday. Yes, Scott. That's why I just heard. Yeah, I saw 6 degrees. I was like, wow, that would be insane. That'd probably break a record in Buffalo and most everywhere else if it was 6 degrees in the beginning of November. But it looks like the winds will still be an issue next Sunday as well. I saw 34 mile per hour wind gusts next Sunday, and that's kind of what the conditions they were playing in yesterday as well. So we'll see what happens. But again, guys, I do plan to be with you live tomorrow towards the end of the trade deadline, so we can go over anything that happened, see if there was any big Buffalo Bills news going on with the trade deadline. Again, Buffalo Bills rumored to be looking at wide receiver, rumored to be looking at Melvin Gordon. Some rumors going on with the Buffalo Bills. Who do we play next week? Next week, Eagles 0-1. You're going to be cheering for us. We're playing that team from Washington, the Washington Redskins. Obviously not that big of a worry in your division, but hey, you always like seeing division opponent lose, so you're going to watch them hopefully lose next week when they play our Buffalo Bills. Erlang got to do better, giving Josh time. Again, there was a lot of time on some of those plays yesterday. I feel like Josh Allen got a little jumpy yesterday on some plays because he wasn't expecting to have so much time, and he had more time than he realized. But again, making decent decisions with the ball when he could. Again, does not throw an interception in this game. Unfortunately for us, we do have the fumble issue still. But again, work on one thing at a time. Had some throwaways, took some sacks, took some 3, 4, 5 yard gains running the ball just because he didn't see anything there. But yeah, happy to see Josh Allen again. I think even though he had a bad game, I think he made some good decisions with the ball. And had a nice play there to get us that first touchdown to Cole Beasley. And again, making the linebacker for the Eagles make a tough decision. Do you let Josh Allen beat you with his legs, or do you make him beat you with his arm? Beat him with his arm. Got Cole Beasley his second touchdown. Cody Ford, well, Feliciano was the one blocking on the extra point that was blocked. He's the one that let the penetration go and blocked the extra point. So offensive line wasn't great, and again, it's mostly on that right side, but Again, we'll just continue to improve when we can. I think the offensive line is doing a lot better than they did last year. It's about meshing right now. Again, four new offensive line and five pretty much because you're rotating in Seki and Ford still, which is ridiculous. But yeah, will Eagles win AFC, NFC East, or Cowboys? Well, I hope we beat the Cowboys, and then it all comes down to their matchup late in the year. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I listen to ESPN Radio and I listen to Will Kane, and Will Kane's a huge Dallas supporter. I agree that Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz. But again, I don't think that they're top five quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, I think they're both like maybe top 10, maybe 11, 12, somewhere in there. But the Eagles had a lot of injuries last week, so maybe if they're a healthy team, they might be able to prove something against the Cowboys, and it will be in Philly, so a lot tougher place to play. So I think Philly has a good shot if Buffalo can, or if another team would beat Dallas along the way. And again, I think the winner of the NFC East is going to be 10-6, so I definitely think they have a shot. He had a few holding calls. Kenneth Osborne. He had a few holding calls. Feliciano. So yeah, again, just needs to improve, and that's all. There have been weeks this year where we've looked at Feliciano and said, man, he's looked good. But yeah, just other weeks where he just hasn't at all. Dak Prescott's one of the most underrated players in the league. I think so too. I think so too. I think he's proved that this year. I think in years past, you can argue he's been a game manager at best, but man, I think he's done a great job this season. So yeah. So again, guys, thank you. That's what we said about. I'm trying to see. Oh, about the Eagles. Yeah. Again, congratulations to the Eagles. Again, if we're going to lose, rather it be those NFC opponents. That doesn't really hurt us when it comes to tiebreakers. So very happy about that. Another thing I'm very happy about is that you see my stream is still running. So guys, if you were with me last week, you know that the stream was cutting in and out. Friday we had someone come in here. It looks like everything's working great. So I appreciate my wife for getting that set up. Love her very much. So thank you to her, and that's working. And again, I plan to be with you tomorrow during the end of towards the end of the trade deadline, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock ish. We can talk about any breaking news. If there's breaking news before that, you better believe we have it covered right here on Believers Talk. So again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share this video. Let people know we talked about. I don't want to blame a rookie for our line problems. Maybe we need to. The truth's the truth. It's all down to fundamentals, Joe. No penalties, no dropping balls, no turnovers equals a win. There were 8 turnovers yesterday, eight accepted penalties in yesterday's game. That's unacceptable. Again, now we're second in the league in dead ball fouls behind Houston. Thank you, Houston, for coming back. But second in the league in dead ball fouls. That's just unacceptable. Need to get better there. Shout out to his wife, saving the day. She always does. She always does. So, again, guys, thank you for joining me. Again, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and just let people know we're here, giving you breaking Buffalo Bills news, breaking down this game. We're going to preview the game Thursday night for the game this Sunday against the Washington Redskins, give you my 3 keys to victory. And then every Wednesday, we're dropping our Pick'em weekly videos. I'm going to see how I do this week with this game. I'm pretty sure I picked the Steelers, as most people did, to win this game, and now the Steelers have the lead, so maybe they have things back on track. But enjoy the rest of the game if you're watching it. Enjoy the week if you don't hang out with me before then. But remember, guys, this Sunday I will be live for live play-by-play reaction to the game with the Washington Redskins. If you can't join me on YouTube, join me over on Sportscaster. Again, hope to give you not only the play-by-play on Sportscaster, but might be able to show you the game as well as it's going on. So check us out on Sportscaster, link in the description below. If you're not following me on Twitter, give me a follow on Twitter. Again, like, share, sub, do all that kind of stuff. A good time to be had over here on Believers Talk, and I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.